Like I mentioned last time, we will be doing a couple of days of capital letters to finish off our Danielian practice for this year. So we're going to look at page 94 in our Danielian today, and we're going to learn a couple of capital letters together. So let me pull up my page. And we're upside down. There we go. All right, so we're just going to look at letters A and C today for our capital cursive letters. And right away, hopefully you are noticing something about the capital Danielian A or our capital cursive A. It looks just like a lowercase a that we would make in print. So this should be a pretty easy shape for us to make. We just need to make sure that we fill up the whole space. In this case, it being a capital letter just means that it's really big. So this is, of course, very different than a print uppercase A. It's just like a lowercase a in print, but big. And rather than starting at the bottom red line like we did with a lot of our lowercase letters, we're going to start at the top blue line before we make that A shape. It touches at the top, and then the tail comes back down. We still have a tail because we'll still be connecting letters. But other than that, it's just like a lowercase print A. Awesome. Our next letter today is the uppercase C, which looks identical to a print uppercase C. The only difference will be once we start writing whole words, this will become our tail to connect to the next letter. But for right now, when we're practicing individual letters, we just have that same curled C shape that we would use for an uppercase or lowercase print C. And it looks a little weird on the page, but we'll notice that it doesn't start at the top blue or the bottom red or even the dotted line. It kind of just starts in between, which looks funny because we've started so many letters at a specific line, but hopefully we're familiar enough with our letter C that it doesn't look too strange. Our practice sentence says, "Come to the amazing Apollo circus." So we're going to trace and then write. And I see uppercase C, uppercase A, and a lowercase a, which is very similar other than that overhill stroke that starts it. So let's trace first. The C, like I said, that tail, the end of the C is going to turn into its tail so that it can connect right to the O. 3, E. Remember, for our M, this one does count as one of the humps that the M gets. T, O. The amazing, up and over. 1, 2, 3. So this one gets 3 full humps, which is different than when it comes off of the O. A, Z, I. 1, 2. G wraps around, and then we dot our I. So this is cool because obviously every sentence should really start with a capital letter. And then anytime we have a proper noun like Apollo circus, we should be starting with a capital letter. So now we're able to do that for some of these words. Giant A, O, L, L, O, C-I-R-C-U-S. This one has a little exclamation mark on the end. It's not really a cursive letter, but hopefully we know how to make an exclamation mark. Okay, let's practice it on our own. So really, other than our C and A, which weren't too difficult, these are all review letters because we've learned all of our lowercase letters. So if you need to trace again, absolutely do that. If you need to erase to make sure it's nice and neat, that's fine. But hopefully we're not having too much trouble with our A and C because they are so similar to the print versions of these letters. C goes right into the O. And the C is one of those things that I think you'll just get more familiar with. I kind of started it right between the blue line and the dotted line. Okay, just like you would with a normal uppercase C. We wouldn't start it right at a line because we need that little curve on the top. Two. The amazing 1, 2, 3 up and around. That weird Z shape. I 1, 2 G. Apollo is just a giant A. P O. The loop of the L always stays above the dotted line. O. C. That leads right into the I, so it's just kind of like a long tail, and its long tail actually becomes our I. C U S. Dot the I, exclamation mark. So if you need more practice, remember we can always use our slate or just a piece of paper to make sure that we are comfortable with our capital A and capital C. Next time we'll be doing capital E and capital O, which aren't too different than the print versions, but a little bit more than what we saw today. So I will see you next time on page 95. Make sure that your page 94 gets submitted after watching this lesson.